Hampton Manor is located in the Midlands. We're in the middle of England, sometimes called the heart of England, and we're surrounded by lots of wonderful countryside here at Hampton Manor, and we're seeing lots of our farmers starting to go regenerative, doing interesting things, and that's created a really interesting location for us to develop our proposition here. I'm James.
And I'm Fiona.
And we're the founders of Hampton Manor.
So we found Hampton Manor a little by accident. Your mum found it, didn't she, James? James' dad said, don't do anything hotel or restaurant because it's, I know.
Very hard work. Very hard work.
We found Hampton Manor all nestled in this little countryside. It was everyone described it as a hidden gem because no one can see it from the outside and no one knew about it. And so even now, we're still finding people who have never seen Hampton Manor, never heard about it.
When we first arrived here on the estate, I think the thing that struck me most was walking through the woodlands, 150-year-old woodland, really in their maturity. And it was, lots of the old formal gardens had been lost, so there was this kind of enchanting feel. And it just filled you with this excitement about what would it be to bring this back and make it beautiful again.
So I think old buildings are quite a challenge really, because when you come into an old building, it's got these layers which feel a bit austere to some extent, and to kind of work with the historic bones but bring a fresh life that relates to our culture, our heritage at the moment. That was the challenge. We always wanted it to feel like it really had a sense of place, so we didn't want to raise any of that. We wanted to keep it, but we wanted to make it sing as opposed to kind of be the leading core. So we worked with a lot of William Morris designs. It's an arts and crafts house. It was built in 1855, and William Morris at the time was having his heyday at Birmingham, forming his kind of thoughts and thinking around the arts and crafts, which went on to lead that whole generation of arts and crafts in that era. So it felt very fitting that we worked with his patterns, but again, they're quite ornate, they're quite busy, and we wanted to have this really comforting feel as you come in as well. So we worked with lots of local crafts, men and women, to bring these slightly a contrast actually to the kind of history of the building, but they complement each other very well, bringing that heritage of craft back in.
For me, starting here, the vision was born when I was 4 years old. Mum and Dad bought a pub, and I grew up actually on site. We lived in the pub and we used to share our table with our staff every Sunday afternoon. Hospitality got into my blood, and that became something I could never shake. That was the beginning of this vision, and we still very much talk about this idea of gathering people around the table and crafting moments for people.
I think this yearning to be creative, I never knew it would take its place in this role here.
Our journey with the Manor House was to, firstly, we needed to establish a restaurant in the house. That went on to win a Michelin star. It was a lovely experience, but in the busyness of a hotel setting, I guess I started to get the itch for being able to create a home for the restaurant that was free of distraction, that was a place of kind of dedication to craft, and it was an environment that would become, I guess, increasingly what I felt was necessary to create a world-class restaurant was a sense of an immersive experience. It needed to touch all the senses. It needed to feel like everything in that environment served that moment that travelling to have. We'd never really imagined building a restaurant in the walled garden until probably about 2018. You know, we were 10 years into the project, and that's when the vision began to emerge. And it was a 5-bedroom restaurant with rooms, open kitchen, counter around the kitchen so you could sit up close to the chefs, and the rest of the seats right garden side with your views through to the produce.
I think also when we wanted to move the restaurant into the garden, it was because we find guests become more curious when they're in nature. And I think that's part of the journey of food. The more curious you are around food, the more enjoyable it is. You kind of really enter into it, which is why it's called Grace and Savour.
We sometimes get nervous about the term fine dining because we don't want it to feel pretentious. We want it to feel very natural, very human. And that's why we don't have tablecloths yet. There is a refinedness to the experience. It isn't that kind of older way of hovering waiters and a sense of everybody being very deferent to the customer. This is a sense of us sharing something with the customer and inviting them into something that we spend our lives doing, and we want people to come here and join in with what we're doing.
So I think we've very much tried to create atmospheres which, it's like when you come from the outside and the inside, they just flow together. So down in the garden here, at Grace and Savour, it's all about the story of the soil and the land. We garden about any chemicals and pesticides. Our chefs are constant agitators to rethink about how they cook, how they support the soil. The colours, they literally blend from earth straight into the colours here. The serenity, the calm. And then in the manor house, because you've got this beautiful ornate building, the enjoyment, I think, of a bit of maximalism done in a very gentle way enables people to experience living a bit of another life for a weekend. There's always that lovely feeling of going to a place that is other to what you normally experience in your day-to-day. And I think that's the joy of going away, getting away, isn't it? It's a form of escapism. But for that escapism to really feel like it's authentic, I think it's very much about flow and immersion.
I think the motivation now comes from the fact that we are growing a community. Our winemakers, they inspire us so much. So our trips now are less to restaurants to go and see how other people are doing it, and they're more to the people that are producing things, the people that are on the land. And from that comes inspiration, from being closer to the source of where everything's coming from. I think it gives a beautiful energy that allows you just to keep on going, really. So David opened his second restaurant on the estate, which is called Kind, spelt in the Old English, which is now not used anymore, K-Y-N-D. Right, it's much more casual, and you can dine in the greenhouses. It's where we have the bakery. It's the old furnace house that once upon a time was where the fire would have been to heat the greenhouses, to help them grow throughout the seasons. We found over the years that luxury is really changing, and I think that's been a big part of our journey, is that the manor house in some senses, to some people it isn't how we deliver hospitality, but it will be perceived as that older style of luxury that's about status, and there's a grandness to the building, and there's an expectation around service that can be a bit upstairs, downstairs. And I think we knew that there was a growing market that was interested in values, and the underlying story of sustainability was for a whole new growing market, this kind of new luxury market that would travel and pay for places that were committed to their values and committed to thinking differently about hospitality. And that's much more of an equalizer between the staff and the customer. There's a sense of community that you share together, and it creates a really beautiful kind of hospitality.
I think our mission, we always describe our mission, building tables and planting gardens that transform the people around them.